Alright guys, my name is Shervin. Welcome back to my channel. The Cobalt Card is increasing its fee starting from next month. If you go over here on the American Express website, you can see that they say, important notice, effective November 5th, 2025, the monthly fee for the non-Quebec residents will increase to $16 per month. So it used to be $13 a month, which added up to just over $150. Now it's going to be about $190 a year, which is quite a bit. And of course, the annual fee for the Quebec residents is also increasing to be basically the same thing. Now, how does this affect the card? Because I've seen a lot of people react to this and say, oh my God, the Cobalt Card is not worth it anymore. It's horrible. It's so bad. And there are two different objections that a lot of people have. A lot of people are not happy that the fee is going up. And also a lot of people point out that the points are in some cases not as worth it as much as it used to be, right? So they talk about how you could have redeemed it for such a high redemption rate with flights and such things, but now they claim it's nowhere near as good. So we're going to take a look at all those things. If you watch the end, we're going to go over if the card is still worth it at this fee. And we're also going to take a look at how the points are doing today. Are they still very valuable to have? Are they as good as they used to be? Or are they not really that valuable? We're going to look at a couple of examples. We're going to go on some partner airline websites and see how much value we can get from the Amex points if you, for example, had a Cobalt Card and was accumulating those points. So let's first talk about the card itself. The fee going up from $13 to $16, that's about like a 25% increase. That's not the end of the world. Like, for example, we just saw with the Wealthsimple card, they doubled the fee from $120 a year to $240 a year. So this is nowhere near that kind of an increase. This is a lot more reasonable. It's about 25%. And again, the fee hadn't increased in like many years, like at least like 4 or 5 years. So the fact that they're doing it now, I mean, obviously we never like it when the fee goes up. We prefer it if it stays the same, but just $3 increase, a 25% increase after a couple years, it's not the end of the world, particularly with the amount of value you get from the Cobalt Card. Now, the Cobalt Card, if you're not familiar with it, it gets you 5 points per dollar spent on eats and drinks, and that basically means groceries, dining, coffee shops, etc. You get 3 points per dollar spent on streaming subscriptions, so this is Netflix, Spotify, etc. You get 2 points per dollar spent on gas, transit, and rideshare. 1 point per dollar spent on everything else. And also, if you're booking your travel with Amex Travel, you get an additional point. So basically, you get 2 points per dollar spent. But any other travel is only 1 point per dollar spent. Now, these rates, they don't look that crazy until you realize how much these points are actually worth. Now, again, we're going to get into that a little bit later, but in past videos, I've shown a lot of examples of how you can use these points, and if you redeem them towards travel with partner airlines, you can get 2 cents per point, 3 cents per point, sometimes even more than that, which is quite a bit of value. I mean, imagine if you can redeem all the points at 3 cents per point. That basically means that any amount you spend on eats and drinks, you're getting 15% value back, right? Because you get 5 points per dollar spent, and each of those points, if it's worth 3 cents, well, the 5 points will be worth 15 cents. So for every dollar, you would be getting basically 15 cents of value back towards your travel, which is just incredible, right? Now, of course, this is what we've seen before. Again, we're going to take a look at what the status of these points are right now. We're going to look at some of the partner airlines. But just before we get into that, if the value of the points are still there, I still think this is a very good card to have. I mean, just imagine this. Imagine every month you go out twice, and each time, let's say you spend $50 on dining, so that's $100. Let's say you spend, I don't know, $250 on groceries, which is, I mean, pretty low. Maybe if you live alone, that's fine. So that's $350. And then maybe you get a coffee here and there. Let's say on average you spend somewhere between $350 to $400, right? Let's say $400. That means you get 2,000 points every month. Now, 2,000 points, if you redeem it at 1 cent per point, that would be $20. If you redeem it any higher, it's going to be a lot more, right? So if you redeem it at 2 cents, 3 cents, it's going to be 40, 60, etc. But even at the very lowest amount, and remember, you can always redeem these points at the very minimum at the rate of 1 cent per point if you just apply it to your statement credit, right? So, you know, your bill that comes in, let's say you've spent, I don't know, $10 this month. If you go ahead and use your 1,000 points, you can basically pay that off instead of paying it off with cash. So you can always get at least 1 cent of value per point, regardless of everything else. Let's say you don't want to travel, you don't want to do anything, you can always just go ahead and take those points and redeem it towards your statement, right? So at the very minimum, you're getting $20 in value. that already covers the fee, right? The fee was $16. I mean, the new fee is $16 a month. Where is that? There it is. So it used to be 13, now it's 16. Guess what? It's still a very good deal, right? And again, that we're assuming the minimum. And again, we're not even counting all the points you get on all these other categories, okay? So just overall, I think for most people who at least dine out once in a while, who, have a lot of grocery shopping that they do, and they don't particularly go to Walmart or places like that, which are not considered grocery stores, then in that case, I think it's just a very good card, and it still is, even with the higher fee. But of course, the card becomes incredible when you can redeem it for those high redemption rates, right? If you can only get 1 cent per point, obviously it's not that crazy. It's still a good deal, but it's not that crazy anymore, right? If that was the case. But again, we're going to take a look at that in a second. But of course, you also get a lot of other amazing features with the Cobalt card. And I want to show you here. These are all the coverages that you get with the card, which some of them are very commonly found in cards of this value, of like if you're spending $150, $200 on owning a card, you do expect these, but it's nice that they are all here, right? So there's the stuff like emergency medical insurance, flight delay insurance, baggage delay insurance, and you can see all the values for those, how much you get for each. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, again, we've covered this card before, but basically you get all those features, and also on top of that, you get mobile device insurance, which is incredible, right? So that feature alone, for a lot of people, is worth the amount you're paying for the card, because let's say you buy an iPhone, that basically means that you don't need to get Apple Care Plus, and that means that you don't have to spend like $250, $300 for a 2-year term or something like that. But of course, the big question is, can we still get a lot of value from the points? And here's what I'm going to do. Now, I've covered this before. I did a full video where I went over how you should be redeeming these points. If you want to check that out, make sure you do so. But basically, a couple of things to keep in mind. Usually, when I'm looking for a good deal, I want to look for a flight. And of course, I live in Vancouver. Let's say I'm going to London, right? I want to look for a flight that is at least a couple months away. So right now, it's October. Let's go all the way to, let's say, like February, March. Let's go March, I guess. And I usually pick like some day in the middle of the week, right? I don't want to go for the weekends. So let's say this Tuesday here, March 10th, okay? And first, I'm just going to go with cash to see how much this flight would cost me if I was just buying it with cash. So I'm going to confirm on the KLM website, by the way, because KLM is one of the partners. Remember, Flying Blue Miles is one of the best ways to redeem your Amex points. And Flying Blue Miles is for Air France and KLM. But let's say I'm going to London and I'm going on March 10th. And as you can see here, we got 1162 is the cheapest flight I can find. And let's look a little bit further forward, a little bit further back. So over here, it's 1200 is the cheapest we can find on the Thursday and the Friday. So that's basically about it. Let's look a little bit further back as well, just to double check. Yeah, this seems like pretty much the rate, no matter which day you look at. It's somewhere between $1,100 to $1,200. So that means that basically if I could even get to book this flight for 100,000 points, I'd still be getting more than 1 cent per point. But obviously you want to look for even better rate of return. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at how many miles I would need to be able to get this flight. And remember, you can transfer your Amex points 1-to-1 to these miles, okay? So basically, you can think of these as Amex points. But let's take a look. So there we are. So as you can see, we can get the same flight for 40,000 miles. Now, that basically means if you take 40,000 of your Amex points, you transfer it over here at 1-to-1 ratio, you get 40,000 miles, and you can just get this flight. So the flight was $1,100, $1,200, something along those lines. 40,000 miles, that basically means that you're getting 3 cents per point. Almost 3 cents, but just below 3 cents per point. So I don't know what everyone else is talking about. A lot of people are, and again, I just picked a random day. If you look rigorously and you just look through all the different dates and you just keep checking every single day, because these do fluctuate over time, sometimes you find even better deals than that. And you do have to put in a lot of work to find those. Those are not easy, right? So around 3 cents is like the best you can find if you just check once in a while. If you really want to find those amazing deals where you get so much more value, maybe even on a business class flight, those are where you get huge value. Sometimes you get like a business class flight that is like $3,000, $4,000 for something along these lines, like 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 miles. Those are insane value. But even for regular flights, you can still get a lot of value if you just know what to do, right? So you want to do a couple months from now, you want to make sure it's a weekday, you want to make sure it's off season, so you don't want to be in the middle of summer or something like that, or in the middle of Christmas time. And as long as you do that, you can still find very good deals. So I still think this card is amazing. If you don't have the Amex Cobalt card, I do have a referral link to the card, by the way. It's in the description down below if you want to check out the card. If you do it through that link, you'd also be supporting the channel in the meantime, which I always appreciate. So if you don't have the card yet, you can check that out and see if it's the right option for you. I think it's still a great option. I know the title was a little clickbaity, the thumbnail, but I've seen a lot of people talk about how, oh, the card is no longer good, it's really bad, the higher fee is not worth it. And so I was playing into that a little bit, admittedly, but honestly, I think it's still very good. Yeah, it's not great that the fee is going up. I would have rather the fee to stay the same. But as long as they don't keep doing this every year, yeah, if they do it every year, then it's going to be a problem. But as long as they don't do it every year and they keep it at $16 a month for the next like 4 or 5 years, I think it's still a great card. And I'm still definitely going to have it. That's my go-to card, by the way. I use this card for most of my purchases. And I think I'm still going to do that. And I'm not going to like now cancel the card or anything like that, anything radical like that. So that's just my opinion on it. You guys let me know what you think. Do you use the card? Have you been able to get a lot of value from a deal or something like that? Have you been able to get like a business class flight for very cheap? Let me know what your experience has been. And also, what do you think of the new fee increase? Do you agree with me that it's not that big a deal, that it's a little bit blown out of proportions? Obviously, it's not ideal, but I don't think it's that big a deal. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.